tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Good morning, Swarm, and welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know I am. You know I'm here to do. I'm here too.
Rock!
Yeah, joining me on this side of the table, look who's all grown up. Xavier Guerrero.
I think we look cute.
We do look cute. What a power couple we are. You're the bottom. And on the one and twos, my good friend and yours, Jay Nice,
The
Johnny
real
Wooder.
top coming in.
Oh, look at him.
Snaps.
It's the centipede?
In
What's up, dude?
my face.
Are you all the way at the top?
Guys, a lot of things are going on. We're super excited. You guys are going to love today's episode. We'll get into that in 2 seconds. But I am going to be in Miami, Florida this weekend. Not this weekend, excuse me. Thursday and Friday. On Thursday the 3rd, I am at Shitcoins 2021. And then on Friday, I'm at Ringleaders Comedy Club. Tickets are moving quickly. Just go to SamTripoli.com for those tickets. The following week, Tinfoil Hat Comedy is back. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. Eddie Bravo, Xavier Guerrero, and Reed Becker will be there to rock again. First show Saturday is the stand-up show, and then first show Friday and Saturday is the stand-up show, and then the second show is a Kill Tony type show called Swarm Tank, where you can pitch your conspiracies to Eddie, myself, Xavier, and Reed Becker, and we will comment on them, and it should be fun.
Come in ready, guys. Don't come in with the long ass 10, 20 minute
Yeah,
conspiracy.
you got like a minute, minute and a half to pitch
Yeah,
your conspiracy.
and
we'll turn and burn you. So go check that out. Also, guys, what's your social media?
Actually marks the spot on any social media, Facebook, Twitter, and obviously no Facebook.
Johnny?
At Johnny Woodard on Twitter, at Johnny A. Woodard on Instagram. Send me your material. I love it.
Material will be nudes. Okay, nudes. That sounds like
What?
nudes.
No,
Okay.
no. I like conspiracy theories. I mean, I'm not saying no to nudes. I was like you, not looking for jerk-off parlors.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect. And if you want to give me my new Twitter is Fat Dragons Pro. That's Fat Dragon Pro. Okay, that's production. And then Sam Tripoli on Instagram. I think I'm up to 70. What am I on?
Oh, 73.
Oh, look at I went up a 0.1, Johnny, since I told you that last
I
time.
know, isn't that funny?
It's unbelievable. So go check that out. T-shirts are available. Go to tinfoilhattshirts.com. Go to tinfoilhattshirts.com, and you got all the stuff. The Disney shirt, the local celebrities. What else do we got? Are they slowing it down?
Yeah, of course they are.
Surprise.
They don't want us to make no
surprise. Unbelievable. Even T-shirts? You're messing with us? I can't believe that. All that stuff. Just go to tinfoilhattshirts.com and get a little of America right there. There we go. Swarm T-shirts, Nasty NASA. I'm going to bring those to Houston. My new one, Opiate for the Asses, is going to be available. Grab that. That's a good-looking shirt right there. And those are a great way to support the show. Now, if you really want to support the show, a lot of great stuff is going on over at Rockfin, ROKFIN.com. Go there. Check it out. It's all my premium content is there. You got the Tinfoil Hat Premium. You have the Zero, my spiritual podcast premium. Guess what? As of July 1st, Conspiracy Social Club will be only available on Rockfin.
Y'all made that exclusive?
Yeah, it's going to go exclusive over there. Wow. Then we also have the GOATs, if Johnny will ever, the greatest of all time, if he ever has time to do it, we'll do that again.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
Sure.
Then you can get early Broken Sim on there, Broken Simulation.
And
We don't smoke the same. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
we don't smoke the same. Bang Bang singing "We Don't Smoke." Look at that.
Yep.
What happened to the chick? She's not on the show anymore.
No, we took him off.
You kicked her
Yeah,
off.
we kicked her off.
Bye bye,
Yeah.
broads. Okay. Anyways, I think Xavier needs a little gender re-education. What do they call that? Feminist
Sexual ed class.
studies.
Sensitivity training.
Yeah, he needs some gender sensitivity training over there. But go check it
we
out.
just did a new Broken Sim too. That should be out.
How long was
Wednesday.
that, by the way?
Oh, it was like 2 hours.
I know.
Oh.
You love those long ones too, Johnny. You
Well,
get
I told
so
you we had Chris
excited.
Neff on. I told you we'd go long if he was coming.
Yeah.
It's because you get the ball rolling after an hour, huh, Johnny?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's just like you have a conversation. You're not sitting there with the clock on it. You know, if
Yeah.
you're hanging out with your friends. You know, like, hey guys, we've been talking 90 minutes. Wrap this shit up.
All right. Okay. Johnny left his Zippo $200 on the couch. Anyways, can you unlock the door? Oh shit. Yeah. Okay. We can do that.
hold on.
Now we're gonna wrap up, dude. Let's wrap up. All right. So that's anything else? Did I forget anything?
Nope.
Wow, I think we're
That's
good.
it.
That's about it.
get
Go
your
to
tickets.
SamTripoli.com for all your tickets, all my live stuff, or Rockfin for all the premium content. And all my shows are available on Rockfin, and soon to be 24-hour news, 24-hour radio of all my shows. My specials are all there, and that's that. Okay, guys, you want it, you got it. Guess who's in studio? Eddie Bravo, and we're very excited with Crrow777. Thank you for your support. Hope to see you in Miami.
Drink from the fountain of
All right, let's get into it. You guys have been begging for him, and guess what? Daddy gives you what you want. Super excited, man. You can see him in Houston this weekend. 2 weeks from now at the Tinfoil Hat Comedy Show. Please welcome my brother from another mother, Eddie Bravo.
Yo, yo, yo.
Eddie, welcome back. Real quick, Eddie, we got Houston coming up on the June 11th and 12th. And
Two nights, two shows each.
Two shows,
What's
two
the
nights.
explain what the second show's about. The
The
late
second show is called Swarm Tank, where like we sit up on stage and the fans in the crowd could come up and pitch us their conspiracy.
Like the weirdest ones?
Yeah, like what are you into? What do you think's going on? And they can pitch to us, and we could give them our feelings on it.
Okay.
And we'll
I
just
like
see
that.
how it goes, man.
So the first show, straight comedy,
Straight
tinfoil hat.
stand-up.
Second show, we do it's kind of like a Kill Tony, but with conspiracy
Yeah,
theories.
with conspiracies. We just let it
Friday
go.
and Saturday, we're doing that twice.
We're going bang, bang. Okay,
Damn.
brother? Bang,
and
bang.
then what dates do we have after that?
And then we're going to be in Dallas on July 30th. Oh, man. July 30th.
And then Oklahoma City, July 31st.
Yep. And then we're in. Are you with me in Tampa?
I don't know.
Tacoma, though, September 3rd.
Yeah.
3rd.
Yeah.
Tacoma, the first show sold out already.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
crazy.
that's how much we're crushing this
Isn't
shit.
that weird? That's shocking. I would think that Seattle and Tacoma would be the last place we'd sell out, but it's crazy.
Why we crushed that last time?
Yeah, but
We
it's so
crushed that.
blue. You know what I mean?
I think we get all the conspiracy theorists in like one market to
Yeah.
come and see us. Johnny, do I sound okay?
You sound wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you, dude. So why don't you introduce your buddy that's with us, dude?
Some of you may know that I'm a flat earther, and the best.
Hey, rumor is you do jujitsu too.
Yes. But joining me is Hibbeler, the guy who produced the latest and greatest flat Earth documentary ever. It's called Level, and where can we find that?
Right now, it's on different channels on YouTube.
Keeps getting deleted, right?
Well, originally we uploaded it. Me and Eric Dubé, we uploaded it on our channels. And if you guys know a guy named Bart Sibrel, the funny thing happened on the way to the moon guy got punched in the face by Buzz. He personally took it down. I'm assuming he talked to YouTube or something, and just like this, it was gone. And because I used
Why did he take it down?
Well, he's a controlled opposition. I guess I just found this out that he talked to Eric a long time ago, Eric Dubé, and they had it out, and they don't like each other. And I'm assuming it was a personal vendetta against Eric, but the film got taken down off YouTube. So I had to take that part out. There was a 7-second fucking clip that I used when the astronauts were pretending to be in the space capsule, and then you see like a dark window, and then it turns in, and they're taking a photo of the globe, and it's all fake. And it's like, well, he made that to expose NASA. So it's like, why would you want it out of a film? But he took it down, so I had to re-edit the whole thing, and we re-uploaded it again on YouTube. It's on Vimeo. Like, people are watching it on Vimeo regardless, but for free, it's on YouTube.
And it's in Spanish too, right?
Yeah, we have a Spanish version too.
Before we get into, I want to introduce our next our guest who's online with us, joining us. He's been on the show before to rave reviews, and we're very excited about having him back. Please welcome Crrow777. How are you, brother?
Hey, I'm great, man. Thanks guys for having me on again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay, so hell, the gang's all here. Let's get into it. It's very interesting. I've tried to have Eric Dubé on before. He won't do the show because he thinks I'm too Jewish. I'm Armenian, which is 99 cent Jew. But the door is always open to come on if he wants to come on. So, yeah, I find it very interesting that gentleman took down your video because, you know what you always hear from the right is that, you know, the left is always eating themselves alive. They always turn on each other. I go, same thing with conspiracy theorists. We always turn on. We end up infighting so
I hate that
much.
shit. I hate that shit.
And it's just stupid. And it's just like, okay, 9/11. We may not all have the same belief in that how it actually, the specifics of it, but the expanded pulled back view is the government was behind it. Why can't we all just agree on that?
Yeah.
I'll get Crow thoughts on that.
9/11?
No, just on like why conspiracy theorists all just keep going at each other. Why can't we just?
It's YouTube training, isn't it? This guy's a shill, so if you talk to that guy, you're a shill. It's this divisive mindset that was kind of crept into social media. Exactly what you said is what should be. We all agree this ain't right. What more do we need to do here? The rest is just details.
And it just blows my mind because it's like it's just like I think we all have general belief in a lot of stuff, and I don't mind questioning everything. I say everybody should question me. If you just listen to me blankly, you're just I think would be just as dumb as somebody who watches MSNBC, Fox News, or CNN. You should question everything that comes out. Please take what our guests are talking about and do your own research. You should form your own opinion. And I don't think you should ever just take anybody for face value, man. Question everything, but don't do to the point where you a paralysis by analysis as well. I mean, like, what's the point of trying to make the world a better place when you're just always angry at fighting the dark arts? For me, it's like, look inside, change yourself, and these are the conversations we have. Regardless of what, these are the fun conversations we have. This show's all about the fun, dangerous conversations, and you're not always going to get the same show every time. I want to hear from everybody, even sometimes people I don't agree with. But if they have an interesting take, I'll let you guys hear it so you form your own view. So where do you guys want to start? I mean, there's so much to get into. Real quick before we bring in everybody, Eddie, why did you take off for so long? You were MIA. We were getting bombarded constantly. Where's Eddie? We need proof of life, bro. I said, what, Johnny? What that lady said?
She said, you have 24 hours or we're going public with this.
Yeah, no, she said we were going to go to phase 2.
Yeah,
what the fuck knows that
what's
means?
That?
We don't even know, but they were about to go to phase 2, bro.
Who?
They.
Reddit
people.
Whoever that is, they were going phase 2. And
Well, hey, put on that George Bush clip real quick. This is what's going on right here. You want to know what's going on in the world? This is what's going on.
The opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
That's what's going on, man. That's what's going on. I've been doing secret jujitsu this last year, trying to keep my business from fucking falling apart. I had one of my schools burnt down. I've been doing secret underground Little League baseball with my son, just fucking trying to figure out where the fuck we're gonna move to, Florida or Texas or Idaho, California. Fuck, California is garbage, So, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with this recall, man. I mean, It sounds too good to be true, you know, to get rid of that fucking Newsom guy. That sounds too good to be true. But if it happens, is there hope? I mean, what if Caitlyn Jenner gets in? I mean, how do you feel about her being governor?
She's better than him. But
fuck yeah, she
Anything's
is.
better than him.
Right?
Yeah.
The biggest thing is like everybody, once June 16th happens, everyone's going to be like, everything's great. Let's forget about the past. I'm like, you got to nail this dude. Because we got to ensure he never becomes president. Because if he gets a recall on his record, he'll never be president.
He can't, or
no? I mean, what's he gonna run on? Hi, I'm Newsom. I got recalled, but forget about that shit.
Yeah.
I'm a new guy. I'm gonna do some new shit. And no, dude, you gotta nail this guy to the stake for what he did and what he's still doing. I was just in Minnesota. Nobody pressed you on masks. Nobody.
What?
Nobody.
Minnesota?
Yeah, nobody.
There's parts of California that are nice. You go down to Newport Beach,
yeah,
dude. They're not wearing masks in Newport Beach,
Huntington
dude.
Beach don't give a fuck either.
It's like Florida down there. It's nice. I like going down to Newport Beach just to not have to fuck with the mask, man. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, that's Tito Ortiz, man. I mean, like, that guy is what we should all be doing, which is getting into local office and changing politics from the ground up.
Yeah, that's what Dr. Shiva is all about too. Is training people how to do that. You know, that sounds like a great idea. You know?
Yeah, man. So
unfortunately, I could never get into politics.
Well, I couldn't run, but we could help prop people up who want to run.
Yeah.
So where do you guys want to start with this?
Let's start with Crrow.
Well, you said that you basically didn't want you were like, hey, dude, if you don't see what's going on now, I can't help you.
Yeah, dude, that was 2 months. 2 months into the lockdown, I couldn't believe still people couldn't see what was going on. I go, we're 2 months into this and you can't see? Now we're over a year into it. And you still got people out there with double masks and face shields and shit. You ever see those guys at the airport with the face shields? Jesus Christ, like, what? That's some scary shit, dude.
That's some scary
I'm fucking terrified of that shit. They got people, when I see people walking around outside with masks, that scares the shit out of me, man. Like, we're in the New World Order right now, and who knows what the fuck is gonna happen, dude.
Well, it's KGB, dude. Their whole thing is bombard them for 6 months with lies.
Yeah.
And then once the truth comes out, they'll defend those lies fucking tooth and nail.
Yeah, that's what's fucking going on.
100%.
Scary fucking shit, dude.
I put it out on Instagram. It's like, you should all just trust me on this shit from the start. It would save us all a lot
dude,
of time.
how the fuck did Biden become president?
He didn't. He didn't. He's in the office right now because the powers that be. And I hate to say it, dude, but why is Trump so quiet? I mean, Trump could I believe Trump. Listen, Trump was a nationalist. That's why I liked a lot of his shit. I like the nationalist part of it. But it's just like you got to question everybody, man. Everybody. Because it's like, where is he? Why is he quiet? We know Trump fights everybody. Why is he so quiet right now?
You don't think he's planning something? Maybe.
Where is he though? I mean, like, dude, out of sight, out of mind. In my
He's been doing interviews. He's been on Fox and he releases statements every other fucking day, probably every day. You know, he's out there doing interviews.
Just won't show him. There's no Twitter. He's banned.
I think they put him on the pay no mind list, like CNN, MSNBC. They just said we're not promoting this guy anymore. Sorry. I honestly think. I mean, they just got the marching.
It's going to be interesting to see what happened with those audits, like that Arizona audit, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia. What happens if, after these forensic audits, they proved that the election was rigged and stolen? What happens then?
All right, guys, I want to tell you about our new friends at We the People Holsters. That's right. Personal holsters for your guns. American-made holsters designed to conceal carry. Holla at your boy. How excited are you about this, Johnny?
I could not be more excited, dude. As soon as you told me about the sponsor, I was on their website checking out all the holsters.
Do you own a gun, Xavier?
Dude, I'm American.
Yeah, you are, barely, but you are. You really are. Guys, you know we're living in uncertain times. Millions have come to realize the importance of the Second Amendment right there, okay? If you're looking for the perfect accessory to go with the perfect firearm, get an American-made holster from my friends, and they are my friends, We the People Holsters, okay? Starting at just $40. $30. We the People holsters have custom molded to your exact firearm for quick, smooth draw. Holla at your boy. They have thousands of options to choose from, plus a section of custom printed holsters, okay, including a line with the real tree camouflage. Yeah, for those hunters, Johnny, just like your dad, right?
No, my brother-in-law's a big hunter.
Your dad doesn't hunt?
No.
He doesn't, so he just goes in the forest naked.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay. Wow. Well, you're there. Check out the complete line of patriotic shirts and new EDC tactical gun belts, which come with their exclusive Talon buckles, which is manufactured 100% in the United States, most likely right next to the Blue Chew fucking boner factory. Okay,
shit, that's America.
Here we go. Every holster and gun comes with a lifetime guarantee. If it's not perfect fit, send it back for a full refund. And oh yeah, don't forget to get some bags from the mouth watering beef jerky. Okay, they got no bacon jerky. They got some serious bacon jerky. Yes, you heard it here. Bacon.
Oh, I love bacon jerky. Dude.
Do you, Johnny?
It's so good, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe we'll get them to send you some so you and your lady can make love while you play with your new holster and eat bacon jerky.
It's like
That's a night.
It's like
Okay.
it's like you're in our house. That's amazing.
So show your support for the show and this great American company. Go to wethepeopleholsters.com/tinfoil hat right now. Get an additional $10 off with the promo code TINFOIL10. That's TINFOIL, the number 10. Okay. wethepeopleholsters.com/tinfoil hat. wethepeopleholsters.com/tinfoil hat. Well, Whitney Webb has been talking about the whole thing is to undermine election integrity. So nobody has faith
There you
in
go.
the elections.
Ding, 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 ding.
Right? You want to
Sorry.
jump in, Crow?
Well, yeah. We've done episodes on my podcast, a number of them, that prove outright that the voters play no role in seating a president. The Electoral College does that, and that's foul from the outset. The left-right paradigm was created by the governor of the Central Bank of England, and I always get his name wrong. It's either Norman Montague or Montague Norman. I think it's Montague Norman. He came in, it was either late 20s or early 30s, to give a speech to all the bankers of this country, and he basically said verbatim, not even mincing words, guess what, guys? We got our left-right paradigm in place. Now we can use it so people will endlessly fight about things that don't matter while we take over the world.
I couldn't
There it
agree
is.
more. And then when people talk about, oh my God, this election was stolen, I go, so do you want to believe that, let's say 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 50 million votes would be counted in 5 hours by elderly people? Where they could make the announcement at the end of the day on who won? I mean, is that what when you really take a look at the whole election process, how are 50 million people and their votes, 50, 70 million people, even before computers, counted that quickly?
Locally, I think they're counted. Then they add them up, right? Like
Yeah, but even that, dude, even in LA, man, how many elderly would it take to count the 10 million people that voted when people were even more interactive and think, how long would it take those elderly
I have
people?
no idea.
I think it would take days, if not weeks. But yet we always get the call at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but how many places actually hand count anymore? So it's mostly.
But I'm talking about when they actually did the hand counting. We were supposed to believe that these people.
When you look back at all the elections, when Obama ran, like who did he run against? Like John McCain or something?
First it was John McCain.
And then Mitt Romney.
Then it was Mitt Romney.
Dude, it was just like the rhinos. They were running like the darkness on the right was running against the darkness on the left, you know? So it didn't really fucking matter who won.
They were all Bush clan.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you look back,
Well,
it was all Bush clan. Go on. Sorry, Crow.
You guys opened up with the New World Order speech, if I'm not mistaken, and this illustrates where we're actually at. Daddy Bush there gave that speech on September 11th, and I may not get the year right. I want to say it's 92, and the reason I want to say it's 92 because that is also a 9/11 in code. You know how they love their date game. So it shows what game is being played. And as for Trump and all these other guys, no voter played any role. You didn't select him. You didn't have any say one way or the other as they started getting into the middle of the game. And when they were seated, you took absolutely no part. And by the way, that's why they call it polling. You're not freaking voting, you're being polled. And also, there are plenty of examples of people who won the popular vote and or lost the popular vote and were seated anyhow. One of the good examples is those geniuses who run the show Pawn Stars. What's Harrison, I think, is their however many great grandfathers. He is an example of someone who did not win the vote and yet was still seated because the Electoral College does what it wants. And if you look into how the Electoral College actually works, you will realize that when you see a list of the United States and democratic nations, we're like 50th or something. We looked it up recently. So how is it that these brilliant guys got that TV show and their forefather is a person who, I guess we could say, stole the election, right? More people voted against him than voted for him, and he was still seated.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. It's just like, I think now you're starting to see everything exposed, and when the DNC is sued in court, and their whole argument is we're a private entity, we don't have to do anything that our base wants us to do. Right there, it's like, okay, then what are we doing here? And now, you can say whatever you want about Trump, and I'm fine with that. But the one thing you gotta admit, dude, for whatever his job was, one thing he did was like it put some eyes on some shit and took dude. After 4 years of Trump, the DNC and the RNC are both hemorrhaging. The MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News all hemorrhaging. Whether he meant to do that or not, or we just use him as a tool and now we're going super independent, I don't know. But man, that's how I see it. Does anyone else see that?
He unplugged a lot of shit. And instead of leaving it unplugged, we're watching to see who plugs it back in. Boom, boom. We're like, damn, look who's plugging it back in. You know what I mean? That's more important than just leaving it unplugged. Like, who wants that shit plugged in? What did he he unplugged NAFTA. He unplugged the fucking Paris Accord agreement. He unplugged a lot of shit. And, the wall, that the border crisis, he unplugged that. Then look who's putting it back in. Boom, look, that's interesting to see what's up. Like, how you going to plug. So it was almost like, I don't know, at this point, dude, fuck, I don't know what to believe, man. I don't know if Trump's a trick. I don't know, man. I was hoping that we were going to fucking make America great again, but I don't know. Maybe it's good cop, bad cop, and he's playing good cop or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to believe anymore, man. All I know is we're every day we get closer and closer to fucking mandatory vaccines, and that scares the shit out of me, man. I don't know what to think. Maybe... I don't know. Maybe it's all a distraction just to keep fucking getting one step closer to complete global mandatory vaccinations, And that
we got 2020 on his shift, just to be clear, but I think Sam nailed it out of the gate. It appears to me, and I started thinking about this, that the governments have been set up to fail. So we can be governed by Taco Bell or Lord knows what. Because how can it be that eventually the legal things, the legal challenges to all these illegal dictates, a president can't give a dictate to the people, neither can a governor. And yet this is basically what they did. And on top of that, they used their leveraging off the CDC. Well, last I checked, CDC is a corporation, not a governing body. So at some point, the legal challenges are going to go in and people are going to get in trouble. So I think at some point in the future, the argument will be exactly what Sam said. Look, state government, you can't even follow the most basic rules or your constitution, you got to go. These kinds of ideas where they've set up everything to start to fail. Because think about it. If we do go one world, that implies one governing body of some sort.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing they want to do. And I think the more local you go, the more you can push back. Now, I will say that we just saw somewhere some government, whether it was in the United States or in Britain, has now pushed back on passports. Now you're not going to need passports.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And
I heard Israel is unless that's a lie, I heard that Israel is scrapping their vaccine passports, and if that's true, that's fucking good news.
Well, I think that okay, we know that DARPA, right, or that CERN created the internet. That's how it was created. And you go, okay, why did they create this? Was it to be able to get propaganda to us, to separate us into silos so we don't speak to each other? Whatever it is, maybe I'm wrong, and I'd love to hear everybody's opinion on this. I think the internet got away from them. And it's really hard to control, like, 300 million people. Like, you know, there's who's that lady who does Cup of Joe in the morning, that Minka chick?
Yeah.
Minka Brzezinski. Her father's notorious for saying it used to be easier to control 1 million people than kill 1 million people.
Yeah.
Now it's easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people. And maybe, just maybe, we won the information war on that. You know, it's very hard for me to get excited about anything, but maybe that's true, man. Maybe people saw the problems with passports. Maybe people did math going, why do I need to prove this if there's a 99.9% survival rate?
Yeah, the difference between propaganda and the truth is that no one goes from the truth to propaganda. But if you're going to switch, you're going to go from propaganda to the truth if you wake up, you know. Awake, not woke. Make that clear. Awake, not woke. So anybody that wakes up can go back to sleep. So at least we got that. But it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell how many people are actually awake, because sometimes I feel like people are fucking waking up and good will prevail, the truth will prevail, and then you fucking walk down the street and all these motherfuckers got masks on.
They're jogging with masks on. Like,
yeah, they're it's fucking terrifying, dude.
Hey, everybody, I want to tell you about our new sponsor, TebowBodywear.com. That's Tebow Underwear. That's right. Go to TebowBodywear.com. Use the promo code tinfoil. Okay, their underwear is awesome. I have it on right now. That's how much I love it. Okay, their underwear was developed and tested by 400,000 men. Okay, Tebow Underwear is developed by a community of customers to improve previous versions and develop new versions that through their online platform. Okay, Tebow Underwear is extremely soft, and trust me, it is comfortable, well cut for the most flattering look. Yeah, man, your junk is gonna look power huge, and we could all use that here. My proud 6 inches never looked better. This is because so many customers gave their opinion to make them better than ever. Okay, Tebow is a leader in community-led production of their men's underwear, and they're leading the movement to have this as the future of all clothing production. Okay, Tebow is pronounced Tebow, just like Jason Tebow. Okay, if you love Jason Tebow, you're gonna love this underwear. Okay, Tebow Underwear offers a superior cut bamboo material that is softer and more durable than your average underwear. Additionally, a cool fact: bamboo uses 20 times less water and cotton fabric, which contributes to sustaining the environment. Okay, dude, a lot of great stuff. So here's what Tebow's offering. Okay, get 20% off your next purchase at TebowBodywear.com. That's TebowBodywear.com, and use the promo code tinfoil. Okay, that's TebowBodywear.com, promo code tinfoil.
I can add a tale about the whole mask thing if you guys would like.
Absolutely, go for it.
We've done these law series on Crrow777 radio, and at first everyone would fight. This law dude would say that law dude doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So we zeroed in on what works, and then we began to realize there's hundreds of ways to skin the legal cat. There's all these different ways you can go at it to stand, hold your position, stand up for your rights. Anyhow, we just recently interviewed a guy named Randy Kelton, who's been a legal beagle on his own dime forever. This is what he did. He filed 130 or 120 something page complaint, and this dude's no slouch. He knows law, and he knew that the governor of Texas, who was a Republican, had a what's the chief legal guy's name in state government? Is it the state's attorney or something like that?
Yeah, we'll go with.
Anyhow, he'd just been voted out, and he was a Democrat. So he filed the complaint against the mask mandates, and the guy who just lost his job wanted to kick the Republican in the balls on the way out the door, so he filed it with the grand jury. Within a week, that governor rescinded the mask mandate. Within another week, 20 states rescinded the mask mandate. And I think in the neighborhood of a month, I'm in Rhode Island, it had made it all the way to where I am. So however much of that is provable, and we just interviewed this guy. The episode will be up on Crrow777radio.com in about a week, I think.
I could totally agree with that. My question is, like, have we seen an exposing of how we cannot rely on the judicial system and the law enforcement system to enforce laws that they've taken oaths to enforce? I mean, like, I've said this before. We've had a president assassinated. We've had planes flown into buildings, drones, whatever you want to believe happened on 9/11. We've had 2 elections which appear to be completely stolen from the people, and nothing's happened. Nothing's happened. So
they are doing those audits, though. They are doing pay attention to the Arizona audit. They're like 1 million votes through. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Probably nothing. But there is a shred of hope, that we get down to we get to the bottom of this mess.
Run for local office. Run.
Yeah.
Not you, but
votes
people
actually
listening.
count. At the local level, votes actually count. When you start getting up a little bit, it doesn't count in the big games. Votes do nothing.
Well, what we're going to have to do is, like we saw with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, she's been stealing every election she's had. And there's just been no national talk about it. Jimmy Dore's done stories on it. She's one of those people we got to get the fuck out. And we just have to start paying attention to this stuff on a local level. And you have to get involved in your local politics. In LA, it's really hard because it's so big. But if you're listening from a small town, pay attention to what's going on. Go down to your local stuff. Get involved. There was a case, I believe, in Arizona where these parents hated. It's either Arizona or California, where these parents hated what was going on with their school board. So all the parents ran for the school board. They got voted in. They voted out all the bad apples, and they changed the curriculum.
That's how it works.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
That's how you got to do it.
It's a beautiful thing, man. The one thing I don't get is, you know how the total number of COVID deaths is about 500,000, 600,000, right?
Is it?
Well, no. That's what they say. Let's say the official number is 500,000.
United States or world?
United States.
Yeah,
United States. And couple things. You put the numbers together. The WHO announced that the day after.
The band or the
WHO announced the final tour. They're gonna have Keith Moon as a hologram. Ticket's gonna be like $1,500. Anyways, the WHO is this true or not? True or false? The WHO announced the day after or a couple days after Biden's inauguration that the PCR tests were set too high at 40 cycles and they need to be brought down to 28 cycles because at 40 cycles it's more than 90% false positives. Is that true or false?
That is from what I'm told, what I believe is true.
Is that true, Crow?
If you guys are interested in what people who have no dog in this fight and are seriously educated have to say, I've got a number of shows up that prove viruses are misdescribed and that they don't exist as you've been told. So if you take that to be true, and actually one of the guests we had on took a papaya, he swabbed a papaya, a dog, a goat, and something else, and every one of them came back positive, even the papaya.
No, I'm with you on that, man. I don't know what's going on. It's hard to believe anything, but based on what the information they're giving us 500,000 deaths, right? But then they announce in January that 40 cycles, that PCR test set at 40 cycles is, first of all, the inventor of the PCR test says, in interviews that it's not even meant to detect viruses. So anyways, when you, at 40 cycles, 90% false positives, right? But this whole time, all of 2020, it's been set at 40 cycles. So does that mean you have to automatically subtract 90% of 500,000? I'm not very good at math.
No.
Is that how it works?
Because just because you have a positive doesn't mean you died. But what you have to look at,
What's a false positive then?
false positive is that it tells you have the coronavirus.
But you don't really have it.
Yes.
Okay, so 90% false positives. So does it mean 90% of the people tested, they were really negative?
Okay.
Is that
now
what it
you
means?
Put it like that.
Is that what, I don't know. Is that what it means?
It sounds like it.
Right? And so then
true
you would minus 90% from 500,000. What's that? What number is that?
Or like Johnny, you're a nerd dork, right?
So all those
50,000?
It's something like that, right? And how many people
it is
died?
around 50,000. Look at this guy.
How many people
First
on
generation.
average, how many people have died from the flu on average?
Yeah,
a
way
year.
more, way
a year,
more.
right?
Way more.
50,000, right? 50, 60,000, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Right?
number.
And then in 2020, the flu disappeared by like 98%.
So did
Yeah.
cancer. So did
Isn't
cancer.
that
So did
interesting?
everything.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So 90% false positives, 500 deaths. Now we're down to 50,000. If they're the ones that said it, who's the one that said 90% false positive? So they got to go down to 28 cycles. Now the cases since then have dwindled away and disappeared, right? Right. So, and then the CDC announces at first last year, like last August, they announced that 94% of the people that died of COVID had at least 2 comorbidities, which meant that cancer, diabetes,
That
or
was
whatever.
then.
That
They
was in
changed
August.
it.
No, I know. That was so 94% were like average age 81 and had at least 2 comorbidities, and then they died of COVID, right? So now they changed it. Now it's 95% had at least 4 morbidities. What does that tell you about the math and the numbers, right? Like, what's up with the numbers?
Another
It's all
problem.
lies.
Eddie, there's another problem here. Did you guys see how much a hospital was getting paid to write the magic word "Covidius minimus" on the entry form, and how much they were getting paid if it went on the desk?
There's another interesting. That's if I don't know for a fact. You know, you keep hearing that hospitals were getting paid for COVID deaths like $39K or $30,000.
We know it happened.
Okay,
we covered it.
And here's another interesting thing about the whole thing is most people know that when someone dies of cancer, for instance, generally it's pneumonia or the flu that takes them out. It's like they're so weak that if they get the flu or if they even get a bad cold or pneumonia, that's everybody knows, right? That's common knowledge, right?
Yep.
But they don't put the flu for cause of death. They put cancer still, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yep. But when it comes to COVID, which is same symptoms, it's a coronavirus, they mark that as the cause of death. What if everybody that died of the flu that had cancer and the flu took them out, what if they marked that as a flu death? How many flu deaths would we have a year? Like 1 million? We would have like 1 million flu deaths a year, right?
More, yeah.
Do
Right?
they do that with?
It's interesting, isn't it? Like when you actually organize the numbers and you're like, damn, you're starting to see, fuck, man.
Yeah.
It really is a scam-demic.
But everything you're talking about is something that we were all pointing out the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many times do you have to get lied to before people are like, okay, maybe I need to listen to these guys and just hear them out.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. They're all goldfish, bro.
Can you play that video now? I think is a good time for that little quick video that the other one I sent you.
When people die from
that one right there. This is the inventor of the PCR test right here, Kerry Mullis. Listen to this dude.
The PCR. The PCR is a method of analysis and wasn't designed to test for a virus. Mullis explains why.
And with PCR, if you do it well, you can find almost anything in anybody. It starts making you believe in the sort of Buddhist notion that everything is contained in everything else, right? I mean, because if you can amplify one single molecule up to something that you can really measure, which PCR can do, then there's just very few molecules that you don't have at least one single one of them in your body, okay? So that could be thought of as a misuse of it, just to claim that it's meaningful.
The PCR test can potentially find anything you are looking for, depending on how high you turn it up. And this is exactly what has been done. The official protocol given for the PCR testing of COVID-19 created a floodgate of false positives to skew the results. They call it asymptomatic because it's a lie. These people don't have symptoms because they don't have COVID-19. They do it today because they've done it in the past and always gotten away with it. 30 years ago, Anthony Fauci, head of the NIH, made a name for himself by pushing for higher doses of the deadly drug AZT, an old cancer chemotherapy too dangerous for approval, onto AIDS patients. Kary Mullis was hired to measure HIV in people's blood samples with his PCR. He was working under the premise that HIV was the probable cause of AIDS. But when he went looking for the proof, he found there was none. They just made it up.
What is that paper? Who do I go to for that? And I looked around, I asked a couple of virologists at that company, and they said, no, you don't have to reference. I said, I have to reference that because I don't know where that came from. How do I know that? And it turned out that nobody knew it. And I was getting really freaked about that. That's when I first started saying, they don't know. Nobody really knows. This whole thing is a big sham.
Mullis pointed out how the CDC was losing money and how the HIV-AIDS connection brought their profits back in the black, and how the men at the highest levels were all in on it. Kary Mullis knew these men were dangerous.
They don't want people like me walking up and asking them those kind of questions, and they're willing to go to great lengths to prevent that. They're out on a limb. I wouldn't want to be there with them.
But he was still outspoken. When ABC's Nightline approached him about doing a documentary on his work, Mullis convinced them to cover the HIV debate after nearly a decade of ignoring it. In a 1994 interview with Celia Farber for Spin magazine, Kary Mullis expressed how he really wanted to expose Anthony Fauci and Robert Gallo. He said that he'd be willing to chase the little bastard from his car to his office, a Nobel Prize winner trying to ask a simple question from those who spent $22 billion and killed 100,000 people. It has to be on TV. I'm not unwilling to do something like that. Unfortunately, not many people were listening back then. And on August 7th, 2019, just about 3 months before the first utterance of COVID-19, Kary Mullis, age 74, a Nobel Prize winner, inventor of the PCR test, a man who was once willing and eager to expose Anthony Fauci, quietly died of pneumonia. The timing of it all is mysterious to many of us.
Jesus Christ, dude.
You took him out?
Yeah. My question is, why are you making this test? What do you, if you know it's,
Well, it's supposed to look for, I don't know, genetic, like David Icke said, it's made to look for not viruses, but genetic material of like coronaviruses, like they're, like the wake of a coronavirus. I don't even know. And just like Crrow said, there's a whole nother theory where viruses are not what we're told they are. Right, Crrow? Can you get into that?
That's the truth. Everyone who's tried to talk about it gets their mouth slapped shut and their channels removed, which tells you something about what they're trying to talk about. But I kind of feel like this whole thing is exactly what Sam laid down about 9/11. Everyone here, we all agree this is some BS going on here, right? We know it's phony as hell, but viruses are misdescribed. We've even had them come on, doctors that were in the middle of the AIDS epidemic, and they told you what actually happened, because that's supposedly a virus, and viruses don't exist as described. The PCR tech, this comes down to like flakes of protein and all this other stuff, but it's well known at this point. And not only that, all these doctors who were forced to have a wake-up call because of all the lying going on during all this, they started to look again at germ theory. Now all the doctors that I would let look at me, they don't accept germ theory. They're into things like terrain theory and other things. Anyhow, I shot through the chat, the blog that I wrote the day this happened. On 3/20, when this beast put its head out into the sunlight again and Covidius minimus started in our part of the world, I wrote that blog. You should see it. It was the queue up for it is astonishing. Starting at around the year 2000, almost every 2 years, there was SARS, there was Ebola, one after the other. And we've taken every one of these apart as they've come along.
So hold on. Well, let me ask you something. Are you under the belief of Eskimos, are they called? Is that what you believe it is? that these are actually the body viruses. What they've been telling us is a virus is actually the body cleansing itself of toxins. And when they say something is flu season, it's, in my theory, when on a human level, our bodies start to it's like mating season in animals, right? This is the season in which animals mate. In us, flu season is, they know this is when our bodies get rid of the toxins and we get sick because our bodies are going to work. Is this what you believe? Am I putting words in your mouth? Or that's what I believe?
First of all, I wouldn't use the word belief. I accept the things that I think are provable on some level, but you're right in that vein, Sam. You're right there. We've had at least 3 doctors, one of which has let his license go now because he was trying to be forced to give people inoculations and he said he wasn't going to have any part of it. But exactly what you just described is a big part of the description you get. It comes down to almost like flakes of protein is the best I can describe it. It's pretty high-end medical information to digest, but when you take it and look at it, you begin to realize that it's all just a put-up. It's indefensible. I mean, why would we? All the things you guys just ran are basically showing that it's a put-up. It's almost like the whole video piece you just ran feels like a revelation of method to me, almost.
Revelation of method? What's that exactly?
So in an alchemical, there's an alchemical process called revelation of method. And do you guys ever read James Shelby Downard or any of the guys that proved kind of how the world was being transmuted using alchemy? Part of it is they do all these horrible things. Like, let's use JFK as an example. So if JFK, which I suggest the revelation of method is coming, when they're ready to complete their little psyop, they'll let everyone know, yep, this was fake, this is how it was done. And then at that point, they collect tacit permission and more occult power than at any other time, because suddenly, like 9/11 is a good example, everyone knows it was a put-up, but nobody did a damn thing to push back that mattered. And to them, that equates to tacit permission. And it's like, look, we can do whatever we want here. Nobody came and did anything about this, and they all know what we did.
Hold on. So when you say JFK was fake, what does that mean?
Nobody died that day. If you look closely at the Zapruder film, which they took 10 years to fabricate after the fact, you can actually see there's a dummy in that limousine.
You think JFK died of old age?
I have no idea what the man playing JFK, where he went. It's impossible to know, but I can tell you that the Dealey Plaza was a put-up. Some of the people who covered it well, James Shelby Downard covers it well, although James Shelby Downard, I think, is of a mind that the death occurred. His co-author, Michael Hoffman, who we will have on very soon, he can explain exactly the whole occult process. Here's one thing out of that I remember. Did you know that Kennedy's name in, I think it's Gaelic, where he comes from, means bloody head wound?
Oh, what?
It's like that. It's like black magic at a level that you really don't want to know. like I want to understand, but I don't want to know.
No, you're totally right.
To know.
Dude.
Yeah.
We just did something on 9/11 that was just, it breaks it all down, because there's some, what's it called, sigil magic, where they let you know there's all these clues. And again, right, like you said, if you don't do anything, that's on you. It's not on us.
And it gives them power. But
so do you
look
think
at some of these things?
Damn, this is a dangerous podcast.
So do you think JFK was a good guy or a bad guy?
Anyone, from my point of view, this is my personal point of view, anyone within the recent history that we're aware of the United States that sat in those positions was chosen to be there with very damn few exceptions. As a matter of fact, I guess I would say at this point, there are no exceptions. You can even trace the genealogy of, I think, 43 presidents back to the royal family of Britain, even Obama, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah,
I think there's 3 people they can't. It's all a put-up. And not only is it a put-up, I can prove outright to anyone who wants to look at the evidence we have that no one was ever seated by voting or chose by voting. I can still remember to this day the first time I ever heard the name Barack Obama. It was on some cable news back in the day, and they said, oh, and here's this promising young senator. He might be president someday. No one had ever heard of him. And so what happens is they get put into the hopper. And I don't know exactly how it works, whether some of them don't make it or they've got 2 or 3 lined up just in case. Who knows? Point is they're selecting them and they're seating them. So if they take that seat, they were chosen to take that seat.
I agree 100%.
I think they have a bunch of people, and based on kind of the feel of who they'll let in. Like, they have everybody. Like, everybody loves Tulsi Gabbard, and she's doing great. She's saying great stuff. She's CFR. You know, I mean, she's a Zionist, right? She makes no illusions of it. And they're just, but the way she is to the average person, she is this outsider who's like not playing with the establishment, right? But everybody who gets close to that thing,
it's a psyop,
is controlled opposition.
Yep.
So, Crow, you think there's no hope?
No, there's absolutely hope.
Yeah,
Explain the hope.
Well, you and I are human beings, man. We're the apex of this place, and the Creator put us here. And so, do you suppose some clever evil dudes undermine what the Creator did?
One thing that gives me hope is that the Soviet Union fell. You know what I mean? They tried to pull that off. That didn't work out. Hitler didn't work out. So,
yeah, hold on. But dude, I'm gonna tell you, man, Hitler died very peacefully in Argentina. Dude, World War II is not about the Nazis. The Nazis won. They destroyed Germany. Germany was destroyed on purpose because Germany was challenging the black nobility and the royal families of England. So they just all walked like, dude, we didn't draft them.
I get you. I shouldn't have brought up that.
No, but I get it.
But Soviet Union failed, right? Or
yeah,
did
but
they?
Then you get into some stuff about like,
or did they just go to
we
China?
Talking Tataria and shit. And
yeah, dude, I saw a video. I had to get into the formation of the Soviet Union and the rise and fall of the Soviet Union. So I found a video, went deep down the rabbit hole, and man, the way the Soviets took over all those countries that were in between them and Western Europe, fucking scary. They just went in there and took that shit.
Let me just say something real quick. Now, I'm anti-communism. I'm not for communism, man. I'm telling you this right now. But just know, like, it is of my belief that the lot of these Zionists, and in particular the Rothschilds, are not Hebrews. They are dark arts occultists from Khazaria. That is my belief. That right?
I could believe that. People.
What's that? Okay,
they sell out their own people all the time.
And what we get into, dude, in my humble opinion, is what we look at is like the Russians. Do you know that Alexander the Great II sent Navy ships to the U.S. border to back Abraham Lincoln? You don't hear that in the history books. So I'm starting to get into this Tataria thing, like, and how much of history is just all a lie, man. All a lie, right? And then let's just say for a moment we got Tataria, and where the center of Tataria was in fact Russia. Now, the communist Russia and what these people represent could be totally different things. Why does the international banking community work with China, which is communist, but not Russia, which is, quote, I think Putin is a puppet put in there to control Russia for the international banking organization so they don't rise up again against the banking cabal. And that's my humble opinion based on all this talk I've had.
Our State Department ensured that communism was beaten in China, and our State Department made that happen. But here's some little facts. Look up the Bolshevik Revolution. The central bankers caused that. Look at Germany. Everyone always wants me to cover Nazi Germany, and I say I'm not going to touch it. There's no upside. I don't need to be labeled anti this or anti that. But what I can tell you is before the war, there was no central bank. After the war, there was a central bank. So this idea that somehow the stories we've been told about governments or Russia, it's because beyond that is a bank. And if you logically take apart, like the speech I told you about how red and blue were created, what you're looking at is for a war to happen, someone's got to spend a crap load of money. Where's the money coming from? It's coming from the bank. So when you logically work it out, the bank could either say, sorry, boys, we're not having a war this year because I'm not funding funding it, or they could say, sure, I'll fund both sides, but I'll fund this side a little better to make sure he wins. So the idea that somehow our history is anything but poppycock is, you can prove it to a point, and I'll go a step further. In my view, and all the research I've done, the big fall and the hypermaterialism started at the Renaissance. That's where we started going downhill. And they sold it to you as an age of enlightenment and reason and all this beautiful art of naked people and all this other stuff. But what it actually was the beginning of the fall to cover up for a better period of time that they then dubbed the medieval times or the Dark Ages. Truth is, most beautiful cathedrals we ever saw in this world were built in that time. And you're going to tell me it's medieval or dark? Then the Catholic Church is going to say, oh, we built Notre Dame. My dying ass. You didn't build Notre Dame. Tell me the architect's name who built it. You can't. It's all there for anyone who wants to take it apart.
I'm getting into
and when I asked you to explain hope, can you explain it on? You were talking about the Creator and God, and I'm with you on that. But can you explain hope on in a physical sense? Like how do we do this?
Well, for one thing, you don't listen to naysayers and news and negative things. For the second thing, treat everyone with respect, and your whole outlook on the world will change. But here's the thing: are humans here just because and what we do doesn't matter, or are we here for a reason and what we do here matters? I'm accepting wholeheartedly that we are the apex caretakers of this place and that there is an outcome, and all these possibilities, both good and bad, will get worked out along the way, because nature is both dark and light. You ever seen a lion take out a wildebeest? It's a pretty freaking hard thing to watch, and yet that's what nature does. My point here is we'll get through this. Maybe not all of us will get through us, but enough of us to matter will get through this. And on the other side of hardship is always when the big strides come. Look at the 50s in the United States. Everyone was put through World War II. I would estimate that the best time to have ever lived in this country was the 50s. It was like a golden age after all that strife and hardship. Well, we're doing strife and hardship right now. What we have to do is we have to come back together. We have to get human values back on the table, treat each other with respect, and then prove beyond the reasonable shadow of doubt that the entirety of what came to be on 2001 and then 19 years later, hint, hint, in 2020, it's built on a foundation of lies. And nature proves to us that if a foundation is true, then whatever's built on it will last the test of time. Anything that's built on a false foundation ain't going to be around that long. And what we're looking at was entirely built on lies.
So the Constitution, is the Constitution, I mean, that has to be legit, right? Because we're like just knocking. That's got to be legit, right?
Something's
right?
got to be true.
What do you think, Crrow?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Oh shit! Tell me what's going on with the Constitution. I thought that was the only thing that was going to save our ass. You know?
Do you understand that the federal government is a corporation?
Not quite, but I hear that all the time. But it's complicated.
Your municipal government is a corporation. Do you understand that your municipal police are corporations?
Okay.
There's your problem. Corporations are dead entities without life that are given the rights of a living man or a living woman. And so did the Constitution matter? Yes. Has there been all kinds of legal shenanigans? Yes. Is it true that what we call a government is actually a corporation? Yes. And so let's ask the simple question. Who does a corporation serve? It does not serve the customers. Truly, you could say it serves one entity, the shareholders. You could take it a little further and say the board of directors and the shareholders, but at no time is the customer or the people or any of that served by a corporation. A corporation serves itself, period. That's what our government currently is and has been for all of my lifetime. So to try to act like the Constitution, a noble document, can be somehow intermixed with what we currently have, it's a bit of a fugazi. We need to get back to common sense, but the truth is any living man or any living woman can demand the rights therein covered in the Constitution. and people are starting to do it all over the place.
What do you think about the Biden presidency? Like, isn't it the weirdest fucking thing ever? Like, it almost seems like there's. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think of this man.
Do you see the movie Idiocracy, where everyone had been so lowered that there was a president who was basically third grade level and his cabinet was like first grade level, if that? Their music was atrocious. The things they did was atrocious. This is the lowering of human minds, to run out people who do things that are not honorable and things that are astonishing and things that shouldn't be done by an honorable person in public. That's what our leaders have been doing for a while. They're still trying to lower our minds with all this parade of asshats.
Yeah, I'm with you, and that's why, like, pull out, man. Pull out of all of it, man. Stop watching television for a short time. Try to go back and watch it. Good luck, man. It's like eating fast food.
It's hard to watch Netflix, man. Netflix is hard to watch.
I don't even watch Netflix anymore. I'm out.
I don't trust it.
I can barely watch my sports. I can barely watch my sports.
And I used to be addicted to sports, and I can't watch them anymore. I just can't.
Well, you know, it's like, it used to be like bread and roses, right? It was there to take our mind off.
Great distraction.
Now they've eroded everything so much, they say, fuck it, we're gonna ruin this too. And so it's like,
the second I saw people wearing face masks in the stands and shit, I was done.
Or how about the players like have to put on a mask when they're done playing? Like you're exhausted, you're breathing.
Fucking athletes, they're not gonna get sick, they're not gonna die.
Isn't the red pill though the greatest metaphor ever? Because it really is. You can never see anything the same once you know to look at it like this. It ruins everything.
It does.
I mean, man, it's just like it opens your time to so much more shit.
Well, I think the world's changing because of this. Consciousness in the universe is gonna change.
You mean a great awakening's coming?
Correct. Well, I don't want to label it like that, but like Crow said, there is hope because for me, it's consciousness.
I want to label it like they took that and demonized it like everything they done. All these pedo symbols that everyone's like, oh, those are actually ancient symbols.
So is the Nazi symbol.
And
all these symbols represent something from the past, and what they do is they take those symbols and they apply it to something evil, and they make us hate these symbols, and it's like they're taking our symbols and numbers away. Like, what the fuck? They're taking everything away. Like, Jesus.
I have a good allegory for that if you want to hear it.
Yes. We'd love to.
Yeah.
All right. So people come and they say, oh my God, I saw 3 6s or 33, and they start losing their minds. No number is evil on the face of it. But there are a couple numbers that can get down to bad business if they're pulled from the decan and have bad human intention put on them. One of those numbers is 2, hence the 11. 11 is 2. The other one is 5. That's why your Pentagon's living in a big 5.
Yes.
So these things, when they reside in nature, they reside in the decan. And nature will provide for night and day, but nature will not provide for evil. And anything that is evil or goes against usefulness within a system will be reestablished into the system and turn into dirt or a flower or something useful. So when nature shows you a number, they're in the decan. 1 is followed by 2, is followed by 3, is followed by 4. What you see is people like Aleister Crowley coming along and saying, oh, 11 is the evilest of numbers. Well, I can go back and show you exactly why he's making that claim. And what he's basically done is taken the duality of our world and gone to the dark side wholly and ignored that there is anything but a dark side. The truth is that 11 can be viewed as evil because it is moving away from perfection, which was 10. Now consider 9/11. Where the hell's the 10? Why do we skip perfection now when we all talk? 9, not 10, 11, 9, 11. They built it right in there. But the point I would make is 11 is also going towards perfection doubled, which will be 20. So you can act like there's only this dark, evil crap in our world, or you can grow the hell up and realize nature doesn't do evil.
Yes.
It's men that do evil.
Yes.
Now, Crow, is there a conspiracy theory on Porsche 911?
There should be.
I mean, there's got to be something there, right?
Of course there is. Do you think there's anything to Daddy Bush given his New World Order speech on 9/11, 92, which is also a 9/11 in code?
I think it was 9/11.
Because the 2 turns a 9 into an 11 in their occult little game.
Damn, dude. It's all there, dude, which makes everything binary, dude. There's so much binary.
Like, who owns Porsche? Like, who owns that?
Let's get into that motherfucker.
I think Volkswagen.
Clearly.
Yeah, it's German
Right?
for sure.
Volkswagen owns it?
Guelphs or
Oh, Germans,
Venetians,
Nazis.
someone like
Yeah,
that.
it's Volkswagen.
It's all Nazis, dude. It's this dark arts cultist. And I think 9/11, in my humble opinion, also opened the door to some dark entity energy. Like, it was that big of an event to bam, and something stepped through. Because in my humble opinion, this is just me and my intuition talking. They knew the Great Awakening was coming, and they tried to counter it with something dark that they opened up with that event.
Now, Crow, do you think planes hit the Twin Towers, or was that fake?
Here's the problem.
Dangerous.
The devil is in the details. So, do you want to dance with the devil right now, or do you want to know things?
Eddie, what do you want to know?
I just want to know what his opinion is on it.
Well,
you know?
we all know it's fake, right? And once you know it's fake, get the hell away from it, because the details will just ruin. You're on a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
If you know it's fake, then why do you need to know more, right? If you know a person lies all the time, are you going to go ask them things and speak with them, or are you going to say that person lies all the time? I'm out. So the truth is if you don't want to get caught in the cleverly laid bear trap, then once you know it's fake, bail and don't ever give it a moment's respect of your time ever again.
Really?
And if people want to argue about how it happened, just ask, is this real or is it Memorex? If it's Memorex, why do we need to have this conversation?
Good answer. Good answer. I like that.
Hoodwinked.
So let's also get into why everybody's here. You have new information, Crow, and about the Earth, the plane. I also get into like the Jesuits. What's their symbol? T. They took plane and put a T at the end of it, made planet. That's my theory. But you have new information. Is that what I've been told?
Can you hold? Can I take a piss real quick?
Yeah,
Can we cut this? This ain't live, right?
No, this ain't live, but it's okay. Don't need to
I
cut.
miss this.
Yeah. Crow, real quick, can you promote your website and anything you want us to look at?
All right, I just launched a brand new website.
It looks good.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be a one-stop shop. It's going to have live chat and everything needed. So YouTube and Twitter and Facebook are just advertisements for that website, which is Crrow777radio.com, Crrow777radio.com. By the way, I serve all my own content. Everyone who uses a streaming service has been yanked under European Union guidelines. That's not me. And I'm working hard to create a platform that has no censorship, that is respectful, and that I can defend as a private domain. So there it is. Everything
I'm with you, dude.
Crow-centric is there.
I'm going to do my website too. Right now, I have all my stuff exclusively on Rockfin. I'm going to help grow that for a little while, and we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, your website's
Only
gorgeous.
way to go, Sam. You got to get your own site.
My site's beautiful. I just have, I have some. I'm working with Rockfin in a capacity of I'm head of their comedy development, so I'm working with them on a bunch of stuff. So, are you on Rockfin?
No, I was going to ask you about that. Actually,
Done. You're
To
on.
get it, yeah.
There you go. Consider yourself on. We'll make
Appreciate
it happen. But I'm bringing all the savages on. All the people who haven't been. Who've been kicked off of YouTube are all coming over here, and we're all working really hard. And the beauty of it is that we all work together. I see Ted Alexandro, that guy's liberal. He's on there. Then next to Chrissy Mayer, she's on the conservative side. I mean, this is what's the beauty. Josh Wolf, he's a redneck. Like, look at the spectrum right there. I mean, it really is the spectrum, and that's what I want. And like, I appreciate Ted having the balls to go on there, and he shouldn't. It should be big balls because you're on with a bunch of people, the whole spectrum. I've had liberal people like, oh, I don't want to go on there. There's some red people. There's some right, blah, blah, blah. There's all these conservative people. Dude, you're supposed to be the open-minded guy.
10th Planet Denver has a channel.
Yeah, 10th Planet Denver's on Rockfin.
2,000 followers. Yeah, you just go watch them roll and stuff.
I love it, dude.
Nice.
Like, that's the future. So, we're back. Crow, let's get into this. You said you had some interesting stuff you wanted to show us. I'm super excited to see it. What do we got going on here?
Okay, I get the sense you're referencing the last time I showed up here, so this has to be about the second son. Is that what we're doing here?
Okay, man. I'll listen to anything at this point, dude. Second
Is that the
Son?
latest?
Shout out, holla at your boy.
Okay. Yeah, it has to be proved all the way out. I'm not a betting man, but I think I would probably accept the bet that there's a second sun. I think maybe a long time ago, it might have already been defined as the spiritual sun. I said, well, I first accidentally filmed it in 2015. And at that point of my life, I had many thousands and thousands of hours of moon filming time, and probably less than 1,000, way less than 1,000 of solar viewing. And solar filming in the daytime, believe it or not, is much more difficult. And so I put it out. Then it was another guy came along with a hydrogen alpha scope like I did it with, and he confirmed it. Since then, it's been filmed a number of times. But I made a prediction back in the day that this might be visible to your naked eye near sunset and sunrise, which has also been shown to be true at different points. And during the full solar eclipse, what was it, August 21, 2017? Hope I got all that right. The full solar eclipse that last happened in the United States, many people filmed a smaller replica of the sun also eclipsing, and that too was the same thing. It just needs to be proven beyond what it's proven as. Like, is it a reflection on the firmament? Is it something else? The research that I've done, whenever my telescope can't take me any further, or it feels like that, I go to language and I go to what we have in the world. And one of the things I went to was those, those line drawings, old Masonic line drawings. They'll always show like a hole in the clouds with light coming through, powering our sun and our moon, and then bouncing off mirrors to come down here, this kind of thing. There's a lot of evidence for this, but at this point, I guess I feel fine with saying I'm reasonably sure there's a second sun.
Can we see the video?
So I just kicked it to you so you can play it. So basically, this is what was happening. I had a hydrogen alpha telescope, which is a solar telescope. On it, it had what's called a double etalon double stack, which helps. You can see the prominences or the flames on the edge and the surface detail.
Yes.
At night, I kept seeing the moon a third of the sky away. There was a bright spot. Over and over, I kept finding that, and I thought, well, what is that? The moon ricocheting off the firmament, or I didn't know what it was. So I went looking around the sun, and what's in the film you're about to see is the other sun that I shot. If I had to give you my best guess, the sun we see is actually an illusion, and the sun we don't always see is on the other side of the firmament, and maybe it's powering our sun, something like that.
Damn, dude.
So watch, I'll go off one sun, it'll slide off the frame, and I'll go back to the sun we see, and the sun we don't see doesn't look as well focused. I think it's because it's on the other side of the firmament.
Do you know what minute that's at, or what time in the video it's at?
It's going to be near the end. Skip through and I'll show you.
Go back just a little bit, Johnny. Yeah, go jump right there. All right.
There it is. I'm going to move off the sun.
Oh, that thing? That like bat signal that just kind of...
No. Watch. So there's the sun we see. It's going to slide off frame. That's a lens flare.
Let it run, Johnny.
Okay.
Here we go.
Just a second. I'm teeing up on it, I think. It has to slide out of the right side of the frame. That's the sun we see in a lens flare. I'm looking around. So when that all goes right, look at the top of the frame. Here we go. Look at the top of the frame when that thing goes out of frame. The other way.
All right, well.
Okay.
Here we go.
For a minute.
Here we go.
That's lens flare. Okay, watch the
top.
See that thing?
Yeah.
There it is. There's the sun you don't see.
Whoa.
I barely see any of it.
See how it's not as in focus, like it's on the far side of the firmament?
Now, have you tried to explain that away? Why, let's say there was one sun, why that would appear?
Well, all the people who are hardcore into what NASA says will rightly say that the double stack I'm using can produce a doubled image, but this is not that. Not only did I prove that that can't possibly be lens flare or image doubling, that sun has been shot now below the sun. Right now it's above in the way we're seeing it. It's been shut off to the right. And not only that, what I predicted is true. There are tons of videos and snapshots of sunset with more than one sun in the frame. And again, many people filmed it as the eclipse went on in 2017.
Oh, man.
It's a big deal because this represents what people call the awakening. Human minds are going to reach for the stars, and one sun is spiritually a lot if we take advantage of it. Think about what two suns. Matter of fact, who's seen the movie 2010? They openly show the double sun at the end of the movie 2010 and say that the next generation will grow up with two suns in the sky.
Wow.
I guess there's the Tatooine joke too, but I don't want to reference Star Wars.
Star Wars.
That's, I mean, dude, it's just like, why would you not want to know about this? Why would you not want to look into this? I mean, it lets you know how much more interesting our world is. And it gives you so much more hope. Everything that I've been learning through this podcast, my spiritual podcast called Zero, everything I'm learning has let me know, man, the world is so much better than they want you to believe. And it's such a wonderful place. And that real darkness resides in a small group of people. Now, do people commit murder? Yeah, 100%. Are there child molesters? 100%. I'm not saying that doesn't exist.
Most people don't do that.
No.
Most people don't do that.
Good people in the world. A lot of good people. Just they're indoctrinated, and we
mostly.
Most.
Gotta wake
And
'em
like, and it's across board. It's like there's great Jews, there's great Muslims, there's great Christians, there's great women, there's great men, there's great straights, there's great gays, there's great of everything. Black, white, Latino, Asian. I mean everything. And it's these small group of dark arts people that are just getting us all to fight with each other. Like, I read this book called Royal Blood Lies, and like, she breaks down, man, it's like this small group of people have funded almost every single war that's gone on.
Right.
And like what we see going on with Israel right now is just like you have both sides being manipulated one way more than the other, obviously, and funded way more than the other to make a religious war that's actually a business transaction.
Yep.
And they're doing the fighting for these bankers so they can control this trade route.
Yep.
And these are dangerous conversations to have.
But important ones, no doubt.
And like, I'm not here. I do not want to be famous. I don't want to be anything other than selling 300 tickets in a market. Get in, talk to the people that love what we do, and get out. I have no interest. Someone's like, hey man, how come you don't have a blah 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 show? Because I don't want to be on TV.
Correct.
Exactly. I've been offered 4 different TV shows to be a host of a conspiracy show.
Yeah.
Shows that were greenlit already. They're begging me to do it. I'm like, I don't want to do that shit. I don't want to be. Alex Jones is a friend of mine. He really is a true patriot. I know some people don't like him or whatever, but I know him personally, and he, I don't want to be that guy.
I've read his energy.
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theory host. 4 TV shows I turned down, and a radio show, a nationwide radio show. They wanted me to be the fucking, like Art Bell or some shit. I'm like, no, thank you. That's the last thing I want.
I
don't like my whole life. I was indoctrinated into fame. I wanted to be famous. Wanted to be a rock star. That's why I came to Hollywood, to be a rock star. Thank God my music sucks. Thank fucking God.
Fuck that. I've heard you live. You're good.
Thank
Fuck
God.
You're good. You're good.
Because if my shit was good and I got signed, shit. who knows where I'd be right now. Thank God. I ain't trying to be in Hollywood. I don't want to be a TV show. I don't want to be famous at all. I have enough fame. You know that one guy that said all you need is 1,000 people to be into you,
1,000 true followers,
and you could survive.
Yeah, 100,000.
I like that. I like that. I don't want to get any more famous. I want to be less fucking famous. You know what I mean? I just want to stick to the people that are, we're on the same frequency. We're searching for the truth. We have families. We care about the Second Amendment. The First Amendment is so goddamn important. I just want to be around people that just want to raise their kids and do the right thing. You know what I mean?
I don't want anything they could take away. I don't want anything you can take away.
Yeah.
I want
fame is an illusion. I was indoctrinated, man. I would say, like, even in my early 30s, I was like, dude, Che Guevara and all that. I was into it. I was like, yeah, maybe Fidel Castro was a good guy. I don't know. I was all, it's easy to get people to believe in that shit when you're in your 20s and you're right out of college and all that shit. Everybody wants free shit. Everybody wants free shit. Like, you want free education? I don't want to have to pay for my brainwashing. I want my brainwashing free. I don't, as you get older, when you have a kid, then you start realizing, like, God damn, how important that First and Second Amendment are.
I'm with you, dude.
You know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen to this country. California, Oregon, Washington, they look like shit right now. It looks fucking dark. It looks like they're gonna join fucking Canada at that communist level. You know what I mean? Eventually, I'll probably go to fucking Florida. You know what I mean? Sarasota sounds nice. Ron DeSantis, he's saying shit I like. I like Ron DeSantis. He's saying he's like fucking putting an end to vaccine passports in Florida. I like that shit. Second Amendment strong as fuck. I just want to be around people that just are good people. They love their families. We're just trying to raise our kids. That's it, man. I don't want this fucking communist state bullshit that's happening right now. This fucking scary as shit, man.
They just had another mass shootings. Your guns are gonna be gone.
Nah. The
one in San Jose was crazy.
That's the goal, but I don't think it'll ever happen.
I think now with the mass shootings,
Yeah.
I think people aren't even paying attention no more. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unless it's got to be big. It's got to be fucking huge, like 100 people die.
But then it just falls apart instantly.
Yeah.
That's why you haven't seen anything on the. You saw the Vegas shooting, then you saw that Florida school, and it all fell apart.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It falls apart for people who are looking, but most people aren't looking. Most people, 99 out of 100 people, it didn't fall apart for. It's still something.
I disagree, man. I
look at all the people walking around like zombies, though.
Yeah,
That's because you think people are waking up.
You're in California.
I think we're in a fucking echo chamber, man. I think we're hearing, the people that are awake. We're just, banging shit back and forth. But then you go out on the fucking street.
You feel alone at that point,
and you're like,
right?
what? Yeah. You're wearing 2 masks outside with a face shield? Scary.
Well, then that's, I agree with you. Like, I was in Minneapolis. Nobody's wearing masks.
Yeah, there's hope. You know what I mean?
I think there's a lot of the country that is open-minded. And I think, it's like Tennessee sounds good right now. And a bunch of these other places sound good to me right now, and it just sucks because
Imagine Texas to 105 degrees and they want you to wear a mask. Arizona.
Yeah. I think a year or two ago, Texas had 100 straight days of 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Got 2 masks on.
It sucks here, but it doesn't even get as hot, nearly even as hot.
Yeah.
Well,
we got the weather,
truth
man.
is,
We got the weather.
You
that's
have
for sure.
to get engaged on a local level, man. Just like Newport did.
Yeah.
You got to get engaged in a local level, man. And you got to start rattling cages. And you got to start getting like-minded people in to take it back, man. And you know what else you shouldn't be allowed to do? Represent an area you don't live in. Maxine Waters doesn't live in Compton, and she represents either Compton or Inglewood. It's like, how's that legal? It's just like, listen, man, you got to get really comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yep. That's my whole thing.
There it is. There it is. Do you guys understand? I never wore a mask. Well, actually, I wore one for 10 minutes in the entirety of this whole thing that went on. I haven't had a haircut in over 2 years. They wanted to shoot me with a temperature gun and wear a mask. I said, I don't need haircuts that bad.
Where you live in Crow? Are you allowed
Rhode
to say?
Island.
And what's the situation out there? Is it pretty crazy with the mask?
They just they ran away from the mask supposed mandate like I can't imagine how I can even describe it to you. Not only did it stand one day, but they ran away from it to the point where they're all, oh, well, as long as you're vaccinated. And by the way, this is the honor, we're doing the honor thing here. So you just tell us if you're vaccinated, which is laughable because HIPAA regulations protect your medical records, and any establishment trying to determine if you've been inoculated is violating HIPAA. They could be fined 50 grand. And I would point out what Sam keeps saying, the local thing, be the damn example. It's exactly what Sam is saying. Be the example you want to see. You don't got to go to another place in the world to try to find a place where you can be accommodated.
Yeah.
Be the example for everyone around you. It's like the Jesus story, right? If your light is bright enough, people will follow you. It's what I've tried to do. Have I been thrown out of stores? Shit, I can't tell you how many stores I've been thrown out of. My favorite cheese shop opened here 2 years ago. I was at war with that dude. Well, he was at war with me because I'm not mean to people. But I went in there the other day and I walked in and I cracked a joke. I said, hey, man, her face is welcome. And everyone in the joint started busting up. And so he thawed out a bit and said, okay, I guess this guy's okay.
Yeah.
You got to be the example. And here's the reason why. There were no laws on the books that allowed what just happened to happen. If
I
had
totally
to venture
agree.
an educated guess, they did it for a period of time. They needed to get things behind the scenes in place. And now I imagine we're going to see a lot of people pay up. Maybe Newsom will be one of the people. I don't
he
know.
should, and we should stay on him. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but I wanted to jump on something that you were saying, Crow. And that is, you know what, man? We need to stop flip-flopping on this cop shit. And it's a very simple stance to take. Asshole cops need to go. And that includes shooting people, and that includes busting down doors of businesses that are trying to stay open. Okay? If you take that stance, which is asshole cops gotta go, and you stop flip-flopping depending on what the cops doing on your political views, you won't be doing mental gymnastics. Hey, asshole cops gotta go. When we see people like cops beating the fuck out of people that want to have their businesses open, you gotta fucking go.
You also think cops should police where they live?
Well, I don't know.
Like back then they used to do that.
I don't know, but I want them to enforce the law and the Constitution in which they take an oath for. That's my biggest problem.
They work for us.
But I would point out a thing. This is a psychological operation too, and it's easy to deconstruct on the face of it. If we have a problem with police officers and every state cannot violate the guidelines laid down by the federal level, then simply the president or legislature needs to stand up and say, guess what, cops, you're going to be civil and do your job properly or you're going to be gone. That's it.
Cop unions are too powerful. We've gotten to the point of unions are too strong. And like unions started out as these people have the right to work in a safe environment. Now it's like you got people you got unions like fucking with law. I mean, how can cop unions affect laws that they're paid to enforce? Like that's why the drug laws have taken forever to change, because we're battling people who don't want them to change because their funding's gonna change. Stay out of that, man. You are there. You are an employee of the people. My grandpa was a cop. I have cousins in law enforcement. I understand being a cop is not an easy job, but an asshole's an asshole. Okay? Why are we drug testing cops for steroids? Why? Why are we doing that? Why aren't we doing that? Dude, having these giant fucking roid rages probably ends up costing people fucking lives and harm. Why don't we do that? Because nobody wants to get engaged enough to do something. So I don't flip-flop. I'm anti-defund the cop. I'm anti-bad cop. Okay? When I see cops slamming down kids, you're a bad cop. You're a grown-ass man. Okay? When I see cops kicking in doors of businesses and arresting people for trying to make a living, you're a bad cop. Do I also understand that cops go into bad situations with fucking crazy people and I would shit my pants in those situations? That's why I defend cops. It's instance to instance, but asshole cops gotta fucking go. You shouldn't be, just like you shouldn't be protecting fucking bad teachers.
How could anybody argue with what you just said?
Because it's like people just get too much into team sports. It's just everything's D's and R's, this side, that side. I mean, people going, like, they'll post one picture of a cop trying to stop somebody to make the business. It's like, this is wrong. And then the next one is like, Proud Blue. It's like, pick a side, man. Call out bad when it happens.
They haven't been trained right, Sam. Are you a child of the 60s, Sam? Or
I'm a 70s kid.
70s kid? Well, that's still old enough. I guess I'm a bit older than you, but I was in law enforcement when I was in my 20s. And when police made arrests back then, they knew the law, they knew all the rules of posse combat, all the things you needed to know. The police now don't, because this was proven by a lot of people who went into a grocery store. The cops got called because they wouldn't mask up, and the people getting in trouble for not wearing the mask told the cops, I want you to arrest these people because this is an establishment of shit, I forgot it. Anyhow, all the establishments that serve the public have to treat everyone equal under the law, and they didn't have, under authority of law, the right to not serve you because you didn't have a mask. And the cops didn't know anything about this. They weren't trained. As a matter of fact, right before I left San Diego to come back here to take care of my mother, all my life, the sheriffs and the San Diego police had to protect and to serve written on the sides of their police vehicles. A little bit before I left, that was changed to keeping the peace. Words have meaning. The training that police officers are getting and the corporate policies that they're being forced to uphold have completely changed what a cop looked like in the 60s when I was young, maybe even when Sam was young, to what they look like now.
Yeah.
What do you think keeping the peace, like, why is that bad? That sounds good. Keeping the peace?
I mean, people voted for Biden to bring the peace back.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people, I heard a lot of people
first of all, when you say
back
protect
better.
and to serve, you can't split that, right? Keeping the peace, it's not theirs to keep.
We're living
Yeah,
in crazy
I guess so.
times,
They're
too.
keeping the peace and
What their
keeping
peace
it
is.
from us. I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, we've
I
seen
don't
that
know.
they just, rules for thee and not for me. That's what we're seeing more and more. But I think all that's done on purpose. We've talked about Q here a lot. I liked what Q told us, but I think they told us a lot of stuff because they knew nothing was going to happen, and then that gets us demoralized. Oh man, nobody was arrested. Well, you know what, man? Now I know what's going on. It has now forced me to stop putting my energy into the system. And I'll say this about the Q people, and you can say whatever the fuck you want, man. They did the one thing that they could control. They pulled their energy and their money out of the system. Nobody's watching network news. None of these two-party systems are getting any fucking funding, okay? They're not involved. Like, dude, how many television shows are dying? Pro sports that got too political, dying. I mean, it's really is the Great Awakening.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm thankful for that shit. Because more and more, yes, all these Q people, do they get a little bit, and I'm gonna say, I don't even care if you're religious. Live and let live, man. But again, we're doing this flip-flopping on everything. It's like anti-abortion, it's like, dude, I don't want the government telling anybody what to do with their body, and that's across the board. I'm not picking and choosing where I apply that to my needs and my religious beliefs. I'm sorry, I have a hard line when it comes to that. And I can lose people if you want me to. That's fucking fine. I don't want the government telling me what to do with my body. That includes vaccines or women what they can do with their body. That's a hard line for me. I don't want cops fucking with anybody, whether it's shooting unarmed people or telling businesses they can't fucking open and try to thrive. I don't want that across the board. I loved Q, and I'm thankful for it because a lot of people woke up. There were some parts of that they manipulated, for fucking sure. Maybe it was a giant psyop, but guess what? I think what came out of it was a lot of people knowing there's a lot of shit going on and pulling out. Dude, look at the NBA's ratings. It's dog shit,
No one
man.
watches.
Why don't they control the ratings? Why don't they just put out fake ratings?
That's true.
Why don't they do that?
Dude, ratings
Why don't they
are
just
fake.
say? Why don't they just say NBA's blowing up?
Because
why don't
it
they say
wouldn't
that?
resonate. They did that. You know what they did that with? Captain Marvel, the movie.
Okay.
They said it did $300 million worldwide. People were taking pictures of their theaters being empty. They looked dumb as fuck. Disney looked really bad.
How can they prove the ratings is like if the CNN's tanking, right? And a lot of people are reporting that, the ratings are way down, 70% or whatever the fuck.
If you lie too much, Eddie, the whole
Dude, all they do is lie.
Yeah, but
all they do is lie. They don't give a fuck about the. They're not going. Wait a minute. We got to slow down with the lion.
Not true,
dude. They don't slow down with the. Dude, the shit. All they do is lie.
Because people were buying into it, Eddie. But if nobody's watching the NBA and they're acting like everybody's, it's like when all we see this things with the WNBA, right? They look fucking stupid. Trying to make us think everybody's watching the NBA. We all look around going, nobody's watching this, right? They look dumb.
They always look dumb, though. Crow, what do you think about that? Why don't they just lie about the ratings?
They do. Well, at the airport, what are they playing? No one's watching that shit.
Yeah, they count that.
That's counted.
Airport
No,
shit
I know,
is
but
counted.
how does that work? Crow, do you know? Yeah, like why don't they just lie about the ratings?
About everything.
Yeah.
There's only a couple corporations. Jason thinks it's 5 corporations that own everything. I think it's 2, and I think those 2 are about to merge. As a matter of fact, I would go so far as to say anytime from this point forward that you see 2 major concerns merging, you're looking at the push for Papa Bush's wet dream of a one world order. The point I would make is when you own, Google owns so much of the internet, all of the, you guys have been saying it all night long, the cable news is all owned and operated. When you own all that, the ratings are what you say the ratings are. Go look at, what's that movie voted best of all time? Citizen Kane. That is from way in the hell back in time, and they're telling you the truth about what the newspapers did. Back then, way back then, a rich dude said, hey man, go buy the 12 most popular newspapers in this country so I can control the discourse. And they did it. So how is it that we can't understand? That's exactly what's been done with media at the level we exist at, which is internet and television. It is whatever they say there is. And, in that movie, there's this one part I never forget. I forget whether it's Albania. They're reporting there's a war in Albania, and there is no war in Albania.
Wag the dog.
Yeah, so they call up and say, hey, man, there's no war in our country. And the guy says, I beg to differ. It's in the newspaper this morning. There's a war in your country.
Yeah.
So the ratings are whatever they say.
And that's why the Albanians are crazy pissed off.
So maybe strategically they're saying the ratings are low for a reason. Like that's part of their plan. Yeah, we'll like, what do you think? Like maybe they'll have more power over the sports organizations if they're reporting low ratings. Now they could own, like the owners of these sports teams are panicking, so they have to do more for the government. I don't know.
I mean,
what do you think?
possible.
Think about people's reaction to that, though. What if you're a person who loves basketball and you're hearing that everything basketball is tanking?
Okay.
Right? You'll get behind it more. So let's think about the year 2020.
Okay.
So Black Widow was a big Marvel movie. That was supposed to come out. COVID's here.
Black Panther,
Can't play
you mean.
Black Widow. And so all the theaters go dark. Do you think for a second they gave a damn about how much money was made or how much attendance? That was not what they were worried about. And I would point out, if they're telling you a thing's on the rocks, if enough people give a shit, they're going to stand up and buy tickets and do everything else.
Okay, I see that.
I find it hard to believe that NBA, within the course of the last year, lost a following that matters.
I personally think
hard to believe.
LeBron James and them has turned off a lot of people. I go back to the Q thing. They just get exposed for being a puppet and taking money from the Chinese government. And I do believe people are watching it less. I see less people talk. When I post something on my feed, people are like, dude, you still watch the NBA? Yeah. I do think it's loose. I do think there is some
I hope you're right.
Fucking witchcraft being done, that maybe they're getting mad that all these African Americans are making so much fucking money. I don't know. But I do think that this whole thing with Corona, with the move to the New World Order and all that stuff, the NBA, Joe Rogan was the first one to be like, I'm not going to do shows. But after that, the NBA shut everything down. And that was the trickle effect to everybody following, because they were doing whatever they can to get back in the Chinese government's their good favor, And I think it blew up in their face. Could it be a psyop on a psyop? It's definitely possible. But
yeah. What do you think about the Kobe thing, Sam?
I think they killed him.
What do you think, Crow?
I'm a bad person to ask because I want to accept anything as possible until I've looked at it and I find a reason that allows me to suspect that it's possible. Until that point, it's unacceptable to me.
I think he was suing this pharmaceutical company.
We should note that our source for that information is
Bishop Larry Gators.
Yeah.
He don't like us no more.
Remember the whole rape thing? That was Kobe too, right? The whole rape that was in the media for however many months.
Yeah.
To me, that smacks of a psyop from the get-go. And when you get to be that big at anything in this world, I got news for you. Bad people run things that are big. And if you're going to be big like that, I imagine you're going to pay the piper. And by the way, how many, like we covered Prince and so many things, we got to the point where we're reasonably sure they don't even own their own name and that it's on loan. Stardom is on loan and you have to pay it back. It's crazy to think about.
Well, I mean, you look at somebody like Kevin Hart or Taylor Swift, they're not their own people. You are completely controlled and manipulated. And if you don't
Do
play
they even
ball,
own their names, I would ask.
I mean, how many of them are there actually own name?
Crow, what's your what do you think about Hollywood and cloning?
The cloning story that we were put in front of us, remember the Dolly the sheep thing?
Yeah.
That was all BS. You could take it apart 1, 2, 3. But to be fair, cloning in the way people are claiming, I haven't looked at it carefully, so I have no authority of having done the research. So I don't accept it, but I don't accept a damn thing until I've examined it and I find a reason that makes it acceptable. If it's in the news, it's already bullshit in my ears.
And you know, talking to some people I've done on the show, so much shit is psyop upon psyop upon psyop. And it's just, for me, it's all about stealing our loosh and stealing our energy. And just like, you know what they say, don't go to bed angry. There's a reason. You know, I mean, they're energy collectors out there in my humble
Don't go to
opinion.
bed angry, copper top.
Yeah, I mean, that's my whole. Is that the old saying? Don't go to bed angry, copper top. I mean, if that's it,
that's a lift. That's a lift from the Matrix. Remember they called Neo a copper top.
Yeah, I'm with. I mean, that's why I really do believe, man. And you know, that's why I've kind of stepped away from just getting into any of it.
Do you think the country can survive another 3.5 years of Biden? I mean, it just seems like he's just every day he's doing like something to destroy the fucking world. Man.
You know, I don't watch any news. I don't watch anything political because it's all BS. And the only way it works is if you do tune in to watch the news. That's how politics works.
I totally agree, man.
That's how scams work too. Scams only work if people believe in them. Like that Nigerian email scam.
Yeah.
You could write the perfect email, but if nobody believes it, it's worthless.
Yeah.
You need people to believe it.
Yes.
Right now in media, they've been playing the race card pretty hard for a while now. But how would you undermine that? What if you don't believe that you should see a difference in races and that you should buy into that? And the latest one I think is everyone hates Asian Americans. I think that's the latest race card.
Asian hate, yeah.
Right.
How about if you go out and you treat everyone with respect? Then you have actually measurably done something to go in a direction you think is correct. Now, if you stayed home and you watched Fox or CNN, well, then you lost a little of your own brain cycle there, and their agenda has been furthered within the confines of your mind. If it comes through the news, you know, let me ask you this question: How many times and how big a lie do you have to be told before you will never consider another word out of a television?
I couldn't agree more.
Well, when it comes to people, like a person, like your friend, you might hang in there after one lie, depending on his explanation. But then, you know, at that point, even if you forgive him, you're like, damn, this motherfucker is capable of lying.
Was 9/11, Eddie?
Yeah, I know.
Eddie,
but
what if his lie was 9/11?
Exactly.
Would you hang in there?
No, I agree.
I know.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But if someone lies to you twice or 3 times, that's it. That's it. Then you don't want to hear nothing from them. And you know what we get from mainstream media is just lie after lie after lie after lie after lie, and then everybody knows. Everybody knows. It's like in kindergarten you learn, everyone has like a wise uncle or someone. Everyone has someone said, don't trust the media. Don't trust the government. Everybody knows. That's the first thing you learn growing up. Your dad should tell, don't trust the media. Don't trust the government. Everybody trusts the media. Everybody trusts the government. But if you ask them, do you trust the government? They'll be no, but they trust them.
They eat it all up.
They eat it all up, but then they know not to trust them, but then they trust them.
Well, yeah, because they're goldfish.
You know what's crazy is you would think that all old people would be like fucking Yoda, Shaolin monks about like the government, right? You would think, like, you lived your whole life and you still haven't figured it out.
Well, dude.
You would think all old people were Shaolin fucking monk Yodas, right?
The only ones were veterans. A lot of veterans did not wear masks. I saw a lot of veterans be like, I'm not wearing this shit.
Eddie, think about this, right? It's like Joe Rogan's old bit about Judge Judy. Everyone's like, oh my God, she's just how she is because she's older. No, she was always a cunt, right? That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's my whole opinion right now. It's like this army of Karens that you see.
Yeah.
They've always been that person. Just now they're not fuckable, and their pussy can't clean up all their shitty personality that we all put up with because we want to get down their pants. Now they're stripped down to their real personality, which is a fucking asshole. So it's like these people are always that one. I don't know why. I mean, like, I couldn't imagine thinking the same way I did when I was 20. I've lived so much life, and there's so much out there, and there's so much information. It's just like, I want to ask you, Crrow, and I'll ask you, do you believe in NPCs? Do you think NPCs exist?
What's that?
Non-player character.
Non-player. If this is simulation, are there non-player characters out there?
Well, there clearly are, but not in the way I think you're implying. Let me ask you this. If you go to the water cooler on Monday morning at the office and everybody's talking about what happened on The Bachelor or CNN's latest news, aren't they exactly what you just said? They're no longer themselves anymore. They no longer think for themselves. They regurgitate, which is why the news works. Most political views are formed in this way. Because the truth is you don't go to some local rally where you learn how to be red or blue. You've never met the people you're talking about. What you have done is watch TV, which have formed the way you think, which in essence is you not thinking at all. It's you're adopting someone else's words or thoughts. So yeah, man, not a player, sure. Everyone who regurgitates what they see in media is exactly what you just said, from my point of view, Sam.
I agree, man. I agree, guys. Great episode, dangerous episode. These are the conversations.
I was going to say to that too is that a lot of people that like us, we don't watch the news. Who watches CNN here? But the problem is that a lot of people hear from other people these CNN stories just in casual conversation. And then they repeat it to everybody. You're just repeating.
And then they say, oh, dude, I don't even watch mainstream media. I'm like, then why do all your beliefs coincide with the mainstream media?
Yeah.
Because I don't even watch CNN.
It's from their peers.
I think it's like part of the playbook is to make as many people not watch mainstream media because it's easier to fool them if they're not watching because they're going to hear it from all the people that
they trust.
Yes, as opposed to them actually watching it and going, oh my God, these guys are full of shit. Yeah. It's easier to have people not watch it and then have them hear from
or
they got
media.
They got billboards. They got other ways to hit you, dude. They got other ways. Boom.
Blue check marks that's their whole job on the internet. Most of these blue check marks aren't even real people. And their whole job is to take these sound bites from the news, they're the new arm of the mainstream media, and put it out to people. I think half the profiles on Twitter aren't even real. There's so many people have abandoned Twitter.
Yeah, I'm never on Twitter.
I think Instagram is the last thing.
Fuck Facebook, fuck Twitter.
I don't
fuck with that shit. I don't fuck with that shit. But I am on Instagram still.
Because that's where all the ass is, right? That's where all the twerking and jujitsu fucking videos are. But
there is a lot of ass on Instagram. I will admit that.
It's so hard to fake a profile on Instagram because you have to have all these pictures. So now what they try to do is private accounts. And if you talk shit on my page and you're a private account, I don't care what your profile pic is, or even if I know you talk shit, you're blocked right there. Gone. Get the fuck out of here. So guys, let's wrap it up here. let's wrap it up real quick. Could you tell everybody where they can find all your stuff?
Yeah, if you guys want to.
Hibbeler.
Yeah, thanks. The Level, the documentary itself I created it for beginners. This isn't advanced knowledge whatsoever. It's the stuff, even the globe heads that hate the flat earth idea, they know how at least somewhat of what we feel about it, but they're misunderstood in so many angles. So I tried to make this film kind of more for people that are in the middle. Like they're not
on the
sure.
fence. Yeah, it's great for people on the fence.
That's what it's for. If you're like, man, fucking everything's a lie, and I don't know about this one, watch Level. And Level's on YouTube. You can go to Hibbeler Productions on YouTube. You can go to hibbelerproductions.com, download the HD version for a couple bucks. You can go to Vimeo and stream it. I wanted to put it in different platforms, whoever would have fucking allow it. Just so the beginner, because the world's awakening. We were just talking about this all day. And this is a big part of the awakening, is knowing the true cosmology of our world. And there's so many different attached opinions to it. But the facts are the facts.
People are afraid.
Oh, they're afraid to learn. Again, they'd rather have comfortable, lies, and this is what they grew up with.
Truths.
Yeah, but this is I've made documentaries in the past, just short films on YouTube and stuff, and Level is, I've never seen distant family members, acquaintances come out of the woodwork and just say, I'm all on board now. This is blowing my mind. I can't sleep. And it's like, well, that's why I made it. I made it so a basic knowledge of, you kind of know the flat earth stuff, you're not sure, but that's what it's for. Because we break it down. I'm going to have one come out every Earth Day. Every Earth Day, there's going to be a new level. So
you got crazy
part two's coming.
You got crazy other films on here, though. I'm like looking at your list.
No, yeah. I mean, go to my YouTube.
You make a lot of films.
Yeah, from 9/11 to The Truth on Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Entering Neverland. That's the one that got my attention.
Yeah, and you know what? Michael Jackson's nephew, someone tweeted that, and it got big, and then they froze that. Those views have been there forever.
That's why you got to get off
channel.
there. I'm going to get you on Rock.
No, thank you, man. Yeah, I want to put my stuff on there.
Done. I'll get you your email sent to me. We'll make it happen. Eddie, final thoughts?
Crow, I got one more question for Crow. What do you think the connection, how does Flat Earth fit into what's going on with this pandemic and all that shit? What do you think's going on? Is there a relationship between Flat Earth and the scamdemic?
Yeah, actually, it's close to home for me. This is what happened. I accidentally shot the lunar wave, the best one we have, in 2012, held on to it for a year, posted it in October of 2013. A month later, the Flat Earth just blew up. I think that footage helped people kick it off, because they started saying, wait a minute, if the moon, I thought I knew everything there was to know about the moon. What else? And I think they started looking carefully. What's going on is we're in a great awakening. If I'm right and there's another sun, people are going to go to levels that we can't even imagine right now. The entirety of what we have seen since, I'll go as far back as the Renaissance, has been how do a few people control all the people. And they knew the awakening was coming because the age changes here, and all these inoculations and everything else has been efforts to reduce populations, to make people sick. Look at our medicine. We don't even have medicine. We have drug companies pushing chemicals. So even our medicine at this point has really become terrible. It's about ensuring that we don't grow up as a species, because if we do, those dudes are going to be out.
I also believe that this whole push for everything is mental illness is to get everybody on pharmaceuticals. The more and more you accept everything's mental illness. Now, there are people that have things happen. Yeah, of course. But the guy behind you up on the wall was on mood stabilize, all the stuff, and he offed himself. And I think that you see that a lot more than people want to admit. And I think everything's about you, like sadness, anger, depression. You can keep going on. All these things, I think, is the universe trying to tell you to change up your life. But you're stubborn and you don't want to. And you got to make a change and you don't want to. So instead of opening your mind to it, you want to numb it out. I'm now obviously schizophrenia and all that stuff. Those are real things. I'm not trying to take away from that. But it's like, there are things going on that you do. You could change your life and you don't have to get on pharmaceuticals to do it. But if you want to take the easy route out, and I'm not, again, trying to minimize anybody's struggle, but I'm telling you, man, this is done purposefully to get you to just get hooked on pharmaceuticals, man, so they can make more and more money. And there's so many people. There's like a big problem we have right now in this world are opportunists who are just stepping in for money and fame and power, lying to everybody, cashing checks while they're basically breaking necks and not caring about their fellow guy. And eventually the universe works it all out and they pay a hard price. But it's just sad because in the time they're doing a lot of damage.
I got one more thing real quick. This is, I'm changing the subject, but I wanted to talk about this a little bit and get Crrow's opinion on this. Crrow, have you seen that video? There's a video of Bill Gates and he's in front of this like factory that filters sewage water and it turns it into drinking water. And then he has a glass of water that's been filtered that was sewage and then he drinks it. Have you seen that video?
I haven't, but I've seen videos like that.
Yeah, so they have, Bill Gates has access to technology that can clean sewage water. Now, why do you think, like California is always going in and out of droughts? There's always a goddamn drought this year, drought next year. There's always a drought, but we're right next to the largest body of water in the world. How come if they can clean sewage, why can't they just like all along the coast, all along up and down the coast through Oregon and Washington, just have like, maybe every fucking 25 miles or something, like a pump that pumps out ocean water, and then it should be easy to filter the water, right? Because there's straws that are in lifeboats that, filter out seawater so you could drink it. I mean, they have that.
Why do you think they do that? Why do you think?
They made a run at that.
What was that?
They made a run at it to privatize California's water. I think it was the name of a god. I think it was Poseidon or Triton was the name of the company. They wanted the taxpayers to pay for their privately held desalination plant. Then they were going to control how the water went out. There's your problem. Everyone said, we ain't privatizing our water and we ain't paying for your new freaking stadium. Pay for it yourself. So that run, it's there, but you can see what's happening. All the corporations are queuing up for this one world move. Like, how many people are aware that something like 250 major CEOs of multinationals changed positions right at the end of 2019? What do you think's going on there? They're getting all the team players on all the powerful corporations that are going to take the marching orders. So, yeah, could we have desalinization? Well, no, we can't unless someone does what Sam says and they get involved at local levels and actually are decent human beings. What's actually going to happen is powerful corporations are going to keep coming back saying, no, you pay us, Neptune, I think the name was, and you pay for our facility and then we own and control, privatize the water out to you. So they made a run at that, Eddie.
I didn't know.
It down, but don't hold your damn breath because look, I mean, shouldn't marijuana have been legalized in the state of California? Isn't that what makes sense? Well, the Mormons came over the border. They tied the gay rights agenda to it, and they put $45 million behind it so that that vote could happen somewhere else. I guess Colorado or wherever the first place. So this is what happens. So my point is, we should have these things, but unfortunately corporations want those things. And by the way, water is going to be one of the next big psyops. You're going to be told
running out of water.
Here we go.
They did it with the electric car too.
Yeah, the Pacific Ocean just right fucking there. It's just right fucking there.
Well,
when are people just gonna run out to the beach with buckets and like bottles and just start filling them up, taking them home, and have like their own filtration system?
You'd get taxed. You get taxed. You can't collect rainwater in California. That's the government's water.
Yeah.
You get taxed if you go.
How are they going to enforce that, though? Can you imagine?
That's one I've always laughed at. That's hilarious.
That's a basic human right.
Of course they can make as many laws as they fucking want. I'm going to do what I always fucking do, and I'm going to continue to do this. The only reason I put on a mask because I just was like, fuck you, I just got to deal with this. But you know what, man? If it comes down to it, fucking war, dog. War. If you want it, we're going to do it. Because if that's what you want You want war, at some point there will be war. The reason that everyone's like, oh, Q, trust the plan, trust the plan. We have a good system here. It's being molested really badly right now by the George Bush cabal that controls both of these parties. Bill Clinton is how they took over the DNC, and Reagan was how they took over the fucking the RNC, and they control both of it. And I think they've been exposed. And I think Trump was just a different fucking crime organization. That's just my thing. But it could all be Jesuits or black nobility. Crow, where do you want anything you want to push? Fucking
All right,
war.
Everything Crrow777 centric is now at Crrow777radio.com, CRROW777radio.com. Brand new website on a lickety split server. Also, our 2-hour feature film made by Jason Lindgren that covers all my telescope work, or all the work that matters, is on Vimeo on demand. If you are a recurring subscriber of Crrow777radio.com, you get free keys to see the movie. And by the way, the movie has won 8 laurels. Last one from Jaipur, India.
All right, man. Love you guys. Love
you too,
everybody.
man. Awesome.
So excited about Houston.
Oh shit, we're back.
Come and hang out,
Houston.
dude. The
Let's do
fucking
it.
freak show is rolling in. We're gonna rock it out. And thank you guys so much for supporting the show. These are dangerous shows we have, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much. I love
Thank you, man.
everybody.
Thank you.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind. Tinfoil hat.